Hey everyone, I'm Casey Barker, and in this video, I'm going to give you a guide on how to survive the entertainment business. Okay, so what's the deal with this entertainment business survival guide? Well, it's no mystery that career paths in entertainment business are some of the hardest to pursue, period, across the board. And I know when I graduated college and really started getting into this, statistically less than 10% of people who graduated college with a degree in entertainment business of any kind actually successfully pursued a career in it. Now, I suspect nowadays that those statistics haven't gotten any better, and while I couldn't find any to confirm that, what I was able to do was find some of the job placement statistics for some of the most prestigious entertainment and technical schools in the United States. And what it showed was that placement statistics were right around 60% or below across all the degree offerings. Now, I know when I was in college, a successful placement meant that they got you a job at Guitar Center selling guitar picks. Now, I'm not slamming anyone working at Guitar Center selling anything, but my guess is that if you went to college for, say, a recording arts degree or a film degree, selling things at Guitar Center is not really getting you any closer to your dream. Now, here's the other thing to consider. These successful job placements occur directly out of college, before real life hits, before your student loans kick in, before this mountain of financial responsibility comes crashing down on you. And that's when things really start falling apart for a lot of people. When the rubber hits the road, when things get super hard, that's when they start second guessing themselves. They start second guessing their life decisions, their career choice, and a lot of people don't have what it takes to hold it out, to stick through it, to grind through all the nasty stuff it takes to finally be successful and make a decent living in the entertainment business. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I consider myself one of the lucky less than 10% of people who were able to successfully make a living in the entertainment business. I was able to graduate college, move to town, build up a career, have high-profile clients in both music and post-production, television and film. I've been able to buy a cool little 1960s home in Columbia, Tennessee, and build a small little studio in one of the spare bedrooms there that I can get up and work out of every single day. In addition to that, I have a steady stream of work from the incredible clients that I've acquired over the years in my freelance business, and I can still drive up to Nashville if I ever need to work out of a commercial room. Now, I want to start going over some of the attributes and qualities I think that you need in order to be able to be successful and have a sustaining career in the industry. Now, the first attribute I think that everybody needs to have in order to be successful in the entertainment business is a positive attitude and great social skills. The fact of the matter is that if you're in music, if you're in TV or film, the days are going to be long. The work days are going to be incredibly long. They're going to be 10, 12, 14-hour days. And if you are not enjoyable to be around, and if you cannot stay positive, then people are not going to want you around. This is a top thing that I would tell students and interns in commercial studios, is that if you want to excel, then being weird is not going to help you. If I'm going to be weirded out with you in the room, then I'm not going to want to take you on as an employee. I'm not going to want to take you on as an intern or an apprentice. I'm just not going to want you around. I want to be able to feel comfortable, and I want to feel like I'm in a room with someone who is going to elevate the day, not bring it down or make it feel awkward. Now, here's the other thing too, is it doesn't matter if it's for a job or for an internship or an apprenticeship, you're going to need to do an interview. And so maybe something that you need to exercise is your interview skills. And something I would do in general is find someone incredibly honest in your life. Not your mom, not a family member, but find a friend who will be completely honest with you about your social skills, your attitude, your overall social demeanor. Ask them honestly to give you an assessment of where you sit socially, and don't hold it against them. If you're going to ask them for honesty, you can't hold it against them. You can't be angry about it. Instead, be a punching bag, take the hits, and use it as a stepping stool and as an opportunity to improve yourself. so that you have a better chance of success in your career later down the road. The next attribute that you need to have to be successful in entertainment is absolute passion, like unrelenting drive and a passion for what you do. Now, as I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, the statistical rates of success are incredibly low, and it's because this career path is incredibly hard. It's insanely hard. It takes a long time to break in. It takes a long time to make any money at all. And if you're not sold out passionate for what you want to do, then you are not going to survive. Now, for some of you, this is going to be the death blow. And if so, and I hate to put it this way, but if so, then you probably weren't cut out for this career path in the first place. Now, if you heard this and you're like, bring it on, then you are more likely to succeed than the person who just got incredibly discouraged. That's what you need. You need an undying, unrelentless passion for whatever career path you've chosen. If you don't, you will fall to the wayside as soon as things get tough, and things will get tough. The next thing that you need to have is a self-starting mentality. Chances are very good that the person who has your job right now, or the person who is your mentor right now, came from a very different time in the industry, where they weren't handed anything. You could come to Nashville and speak to a bunch of veteran engineers, and they could tell you horror stories of their times coming up as an assistant or as an apprentice, where they got completely chewed out. I mean, just grilled in front of a client. And those days were pretty brutal, and you would take some pretty hard verbal hits. But what it did, it gave you like an ouch moment. If you screwed up, you really knew it, and you felt terrible, and you know, the people that you were working for made you feel terrible, and they didn't feel bad about it. And what it did was made sure that you felt a way that you're like, man, I am not going to do that again. I do not want to feel this way again, and I'm not going to screw up like that ever again. Now, all that to say is that people weren't handed anything. They had to grind and hurt and bleed for it. And so the next generation coming up, if you're me or you're one of my mentors, you're not going to watch the next person come up and just hand them anything, because you've bled and cried and sweated and lost sleep over getting to where you're at right now. So you need to be a self-starter, because people are not going to hand you anything. You're going to have to work for every ounce of success and progress that you get in this career. Now, another attribute that you need to have is confidence and sustainability. If you're walking around timid and shy and just seeming weak, people are going to assume that you're not cut out for this business, and chances are they're probably right. Now, the inverse of that is we see a lot of people who are cocky, who think they went somewhere, insert school here, and now they feel like the world owes them anything, or they feel like they've actually learned something. And that's just as much of a turnoff as the previous thing I mentioned, which is, you know, being timid or weak. So you need to have a healthy level of confidence. You need to be confident in yourself, but not overly cocky. You need to be confident in your abilities, or even if you don't have the ability now, you need to be confident in your ability to learn, to grow, and to be better tomorrow than what you were yesterday. And if people can see that, they're gonna give you a shot. Now, another thing you need to be able to do is take punches. You need to be a punching bag. And maybe not all the time, but you definitely need to be able to mentally get there. That today, I might lose. Today, I might hear things that crush me, that leave me feeling broken and bruised. But some days, that's gonna be your job. Some days, that's how you're going to progress. Some days, that's how you're gonna get better, is by walking in and hearing all the things that you don't want to hear, because it's going to make you better. Sometimes I have to go into a situation or a job or a career or an opportunity going, you know what, today it's my job to get punched. Maybe I won't, but if I do, I gotta be able to walk out tomorrow and walk out of that situation and go, you know what, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow I'm gonna kill it. But be able to be a punching bag, take those hits, don't be cocky, don't take punches and be like, ah, that meant nothing, or what that person had to say didn't have any validity, because it might. But you gotta be able to take those punches, analyze the information, and go, was that person right? And then not let it break you. You need to be able to come back the next day to take more punches, because you're just gonna continue to further your career, further your success, and even the top people still take punches from time to time. You just gotta be able to take those hits and keep moving. Alright, the next thing that you need to have is a plan. And this is just a good rule in general, but I am shocked by how many interns and artists and filmmakers and you name it who have absolutely no plan for their future and their career at all. I hear this from interns who have no idea which career path that they want to take even after they've paid money for college and spent 2 to 4 years going through it and another 6 months to a year in an internship, and they still have no idea what they want to do. I've seen this from artists who are about to release a single or a full record and have no idea who their market is, where they're going to put it, and you know who they're going to sell it to, or if they have no affiliations with anyone. They have no way of pushing their product out to an audience, and then they sit back and wonder why their audience turnout and the record sales are minuscule. You have to have a plan. If you're a songwriter, then you need to, make a plan for where you're going to move, how many songs are you going to write, who are you going to market it to, where are you going to go, how are you going to play out, how are you going to spread the word, what are you going to do for social media in your marketing. If you are building a music library for music licensing, then you need to develop a plan for how much music am I going to make, how am I going to split it up, how much music am I going to make before I start contacting libraries and trying to get my music into a library so that sound supervisors can find it. What libraries are you going to contact if you're making films, or if you're a DP, or if you want to be a director? How much are you going to get involved in the film community? How many films are you going to make? Where are you going to network? You need to find all these things out. If you're an engineer, what town am I going to move to? What studios am I going to intern at? Who am I going to connect with afterwards? How long am I going to intern? Or how long am I going to work for free? And then who am I going to hunt down? Who am I going to find and offer to wash their car and get them coffee in exchange for getting more experience and more work and building yourself as an editor or whatever it may be? You need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're going to end up likely nowhere unless you're just flat out lucky. You need to have a plan. It's good for your career, and it's just good for business in general. Alright, now to follow up on the heels of that, you need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Again, this kind of goes back to having a plan, but in addition to that, you need to be able to market and sell yourself. You need to be able to market and sell your products. You need to be able to, you have to be more than just a creative nowadays, especially if you're an artist. With the decline of record labels and marketing departments and all that thing, that responsibility is now on you, especially if you're trying to come at this from a low budget and economical standpoint. You need to be smart about how you market yourself and market your content and where you're going to sell it. You need to be an entrepreneur just as much as you need to be an artist, and that might be really hard for some of you, because people who are extremely artistic have a really hard time getting back into the practical and the logistical and the business aspect of it. But it might be a muscle you really need to exercise in 2019. Now, the next thing you need to do is become a master at your craft. And this really probably seems like an obvious one, but you really do need to become a master, and you need to give yourself something unique that makes you stand out from everyone else, from the rest of the noise, from the rest of the competition, especially if you plan on moving to the big three, one of the big three cities, being LA, New York, or Nashville. There is a flood of people a lot like you with incredibly accelerated skill sets, and I mean, there's so many talented people in these cities. You really need to do something that really diversifies yourself and really makes you an asset in your area. For me, starting out, especially after my internships, I became an incredible editor. That's where I really locked myself in, became a value. For people who were producers or mixers, they were worried about doing the high-end stuff. For them, the top-tier role was being the producer, being the guy in charge, or being the mixer, the guy who's able to put his sonic stamp on the music that their client was bringing to them. And they didn't want to deal with beat detectiving stuff, or augmenting drums, or doing drum replacement, or tuning vocals. They didn't want to deal with any of that stuff. And I got really good at that, and so I became invaluable to a lot of people. So find something that can really diversify yourself, that will make you stand out, at least in the early stages. If you want to expand your skill set later on as you grow and as you build a career and as you make more money, please do. It's a smart thing to do. I started out as basically simply an editor, and then moved into an assistant, and then doing a tracking engineer, and then into a mixing engineer, and then ultimately into post-production. But I didn't conquer all those things right in the beginning. I found a niche where I was valuable, where I could be utilized, and more importantly, make money, because I needed to. And then I expanded all the other skill sets and all the other things I could do, and all the other areas where I could be valuable as time went on. But you need to become a master at your craft. You gotta become a master at something. Alright, the next thing that's gonna benefit you greatly, and I would say it might be the most important thing on this list, is realistic expectations. When I had my commercial room up in Franklin, I saw a lot of interns come and go through that facility, and I had a lot of conversations with a lot of people. And the thing that seemed to be incredibly common was that most of them had unrealistic expectations of what the career was going to be, of what they should get paid outside of an internship. We had people who were asking for salaries that eclipsed more than what I made right out of an internship. And it was simply because their mommies and daddies told them that you should go to college, and after you go to college, you should get a job. And they pulled and pointed that mentality into the entertainment business, and that it's not the way it works. If you're looking for realistic expectations on your career or where you want to go, then what you need to do is call someplace or somebody that's killing it, doing exactly what you want to do, and give them a phone call. And see if you can get someone on the phone who will talk to you realistically and authentically about what you can expect. Don't talk to your mom. Don't talk to your dad. They don't know what this is about. They don't know what you're doing. Unless they're actually doing that thing that you want to do, they have no clue. I've been doing this for 11 years, and my parents still have no idea what I do, or what the expectations are, or how much anybody should make. If I even try to talk to them about what I do, they just immediately start going like glossy-eyed, and their eyes start rolling back in their head. Your parents don't know, so don't ask them. And I hate to say that, and if you're a parent out there, you're probably gonna hate me for saying it, but talk to someone who really knows what this career path looks like. Whether it's film, whether it's songwriting, whether it's engineering or mixing, whether producing, I don't care. Find out from the source, and then set your expectations based on that. You do anything else, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. And if you're not careful about it, again, the person that was asking more than my salary outside of an internship, not only was he clearly declined that job, but he wasn't taken seriously from that point on, because everyone assumed that this guy had no clue what was going on. So you got to be really careful about your expectations moving forward. If you don't have an understanding what it's like now, then figure that out before you move on. That tip honestly may have just saved you, thousands in schooling and a bunch of wasted time and money. Realistic expectations, it's super important. Alright, so the last tip I'm going to give is a little bit more heavy-handed. And that is, regardless of what you do, regardless of what path you go down, you need to hold true to your values and to your morals and to your standards. If anything in this career path that you choose is going to put you in a position where you're compromising your standards and your morals and your values, then it's not worth pursuing. Early on in my career, I was incredibly passionate. I had, an unrelenting drive. All the things that I mentioned in this list, I had. The one thing that I ignored, though, were some of my values and some of my standards. And I pursued my career more passionately than I pursued my marriage, and because of that, I almost lost my marriage 2 years in. Because it turns out that spouses generally don't like to come in second place, especially to a career, especially after you've moved your spouse away from very close family that they adore. So, I'm not going to go any deeper than that, but I just want to say this, that it is super easy to get caught up in the pursuit and the dream and the career. And none of those things are more important than your morals and your values and your standards. And you may have to take a punch. You might have to be a punching bag and hear no a couple times. And you might even have to hear that you're going to be a failure or you're not going to be successful unless you do X. And if X is a violation of any of your morals or values or standards, then you need to walk away. But I'll say this, if you are committed and driven and you really know that this is your calling, inevitably there will be another path. If someone is telling you that you're going to be a failure because they're wanting you to do something that violates your morals or standards, then chances are they're wrong, and chances are they're trying to be manipulative. Now, you are going to have to still put in a lot of work. You're still going to have to put in a lot of time. Those are certainly things that are going to be on the table. It's just going to be a part of the job. And there will be seasons of that. And I still have conversations with my wife now. I just did this in November. I told my wife, Stacy, you're not going to see me much this month. And it was true. I was working my butt off for an entire month straight. I barely saw my kids. I barely saw my wife. But in the end, I took most of December off. I figured out a way to recalibrate and regain the balance. So I'm not saying that if someone asks you to work long hours that you say, no, this is a violation of my standards. But if they ask you to consistently do things that are going to be a detriment to your relationship with your spouse or with your kids, then it has to be no. It just has to be no. So that sounds deep, but I hope it's an encouragement that you can be successful in a career without violating your standards, without violating your morals. There's another way, there's another path for you, and you need to stick to your guns. Don't do something that you're going to regret later on in the pursuit of a vocation or a career or a certain amount of money. It's just not worth it. Okay guys, it's time for me to sign off. If you enjoyed this video, if you found value in it, please share it along. This was a video that I intended to reach people who were considering getting into a vocation in the entertainment business. And I really wanted this to reach people who were like me before I got into this career, who grew up in a small town and didn't have a real mentor or somebody to get advice from who was really doing what I wanted to end up doing. So if you watch this video and someone popped into your mind that could really hear this, please send it along. So if you like this video and you found value in it, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind, I have a website that is CBarkerProductions.com where I've got more content like this on my blog and media page. And if you sign up to my newsletter, you'll get free and regular updates anytime I upload a new free piece of content. So you won't have to worry about getting lucky or just stumbling across it on a YouTube page. You'll get an email update anytime there's new content. And I'm not going to spam you, I promise. That's not part of my thing. I don't want to be a spammer. But you will get an email anytime that there's a new article, a new blog post, or a new video like this. I want to thank you sincerely for taking your time with me today and checking out this video. We'll catch you on the next one. I'm Casey Barker.